Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Rugby Premiership Preview Show with BetUK.com. It's very nice to see you again. I hope you're having a good week. My name is Alex Payne. The Lord is back in his Team Corb's stash. How are you, Lord? What's happening?
No egos, just amigos, pal. No egos. Yeah, I'm good. I'm very good. It's the constant grind of homeschooling is still on, but I know you will know the feeling. But otherwise, we are all safe, healthy, so we can't complain. Weather's miserable.
What are you learning about at the moment? I'm doing long multiplication at the moment, which I have to say is not my forte.
I'm doing the basics of maths, and Mia's actually not too bad at it, but then also there'll be something where she either just doesn't try and it really, really grates me. So she'll do something like 12 times something and smash it, and then you go, right, what's 12 times 1? 20. Well, it's not 20, isn't it? Then literally, she must see the colour as I get redder and redder and redder and redder.
Yeah.
Just answer the question. So the daily
lots of timeouts and walking away, and everyone take a 10-seconder.
The daily frustrations, and can you just leave the room a minute? And then I put my fist through the desk, and then we come back in. Yeah. Why is there a hole in the desk though? Don't worry about that, my love. It's just so you can get things out quicker. But no, otherwise all good.
Good. Deep breath. I tell you what, we could both do with a little bit of help at the moment with the numbers, because we were going so well last week and then it really fell apart at the end. You got over that, or are you still stung?
Well, it's like I took our own advice on Friday with the Bristol game and made a little bit, and then I didn't do anything on the Saturday, which would have been nice if I did, because we would have won. And then on Sunday, I thought which I thought was probably the better bets that I had, they both lost. So
and quite spectacularly as well. I mean, Quins at Wasps. Hello.
I know. I mean, you talk about you want the players to give you a reaction, and they did. I mean, great result for Quins, obviously, and just shows the inconsistencies that they have, but how brilliant they can be when they got it right. I mean, I thought Wasps were definitely very poor for their standards in that first half, but full credit to Quins in terms of the way they went out and attacked them. And I mean, apologies to anyone who took our bets. We thought they were good, but this is the league at the moment, though, isn't it? You just don't know.
Yeah, that's it. We go again, ye faithful. We go again. Just before we get into this week, a quick reminder: this isn't the main show. Cue those of you who like to pop that into the comments of our YouTube show. We do these every week during the Premiership season. It's a little accompaniment to the main show, which this week is a 2-part bonanza with the Wasps and England back rower Jack Willis. We originally had about an hour and a half with him on the Monday night
when he'd just been sent home.
Well, no, he hadn't made the squad, and so we were talking all about disappointment. And then, literally, as the final video file was sent through to the editors, breaking news: Jack Willis called into the England squad at the expense of prod Sam Underhill, who's taken a knock. So he very kindly came back, and we had an extra sort of half an hour, 40 minutes about the turbulent emotions of being a professional player right now. But what a guy, and just such a wise head on a young set of very impressive, rather broad shoulders. And it's also some good form as well, so have a listen to that if you would like. Tap in your good, your bad, and your rugby to wherever it is you do your downloading or your listening, and you will find it there. For the next 15 minutes or so, we're going to have a look at this week's games in the Gallagher Premiership. We're going to try and go again on the predictions. I just quickly want to put a couple of headlines from last weekend. We've obviously touched on Quins, but Semi Radradra as well. I mean, Semi Radradra and Bristol, tick, tick, tick. What is happening at Bath at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, they were just all over the shop. Defensively, it was just that. Oh, what are you doing? There's just no connection. There was, so they're in a tough spot. I don't see how they're going to get themselves out of it. But again, they've put in. They have put in game. Their defence is their biggest issue at the moment. If you look how many points they're shelling, I think, over the last 2 games, it might be 100 points now that they've shelled. So there is definite issues there that they can solve. They have scored tries as well. So it's not that they can't score the tries, but their biggest focus now has to be on plugging the multiple holes that they have in their defence and figuring that out. That's what they have to solve, and then they might be able to get some wins.
Randra, box office.
I mean, I was thinking the other day I'd love to play definitely with him rather than against him. But
your man.
Yeah, I was going to put something out. I said I'd always force him to the outside. It's all about your angles, but he would have just smoked me on the outside. So no, I mean he's just so impressive. We talked about whether the 9 and 10 axis would be a problem for Bristol with their guys missing, and it just wasn't, was it? I mean, the guys stepped into the breach, and it was great to watch. And it's rugby that you want to watch. I was having a chat with Sinbad, and he was like, "I'd love to be playing now," and with how the game is just encouraging scoring, and Sinbad would relish a game like that, and it was great to watch. I enjoyed it.
Once more onto the breach, dear friends, once more. So don't forget BetUK.com, the official Premiership Rugby Predictor app. They're offering over 14 grand's worth of cash prizes this season throughout the course of 2020-21 campaign. And as you make your picks, you're going to be awarded points. The person who picks up the most accrued points at the end of the season wins a fantastic £5,000 cash prize, completely free to play. You never need to miss out. The official Premiership Rugby Predictor app is available exclusively on BetUK.com's own app for players aged 18 and over, and that's on iOS and your Androids. Couldn't be simpler to make your picks for the upcoming games. All you need to do is download the BetUK.com app, register or log into your account, select the Premiership Rugby Predictor from the menu, make your predictions, home win, draw or away win for all 6 of the weekend's Premiership Rugby fixtures. Submit the picks you make, and hope that you've selected the winners. Really is as simple as that. It's a lot of fun. Get involved. T's and C's apply, as you'd expect. 18s and over only, please. BeGambleAware.org. I can't believe we're in round 8, actually. That's sort of one of the headlines coming into this. But let's go again with Bristol up against Sale. So this has got some proper spark to it. A really good way to kick off the weekend. First against third. Are we looking at a clash of styles?
Well, we are at the moment. I think if you look in terms of everything seems to be quite tight at Sale, that their wins are tight. You think of Bristol, you think of flowing, you think of tries, whereas that's not quite the way with Bristol. It's more of getting the job done, and you don't necessarily think they're playing that well. But as you said, they're in third. Obviously, Sale's away form is amazing at the moment. I think they've won 6 out of their last 7 away games, which is fantastic. I think before and what does it say here? Sale have won 3 of their previous 5 away games against teams that went on to finish in the top 4. So they've got good value against top 4 teams. But I think Bristol are just riding a crest of a wave at the moment. And at home, with all their firepower, I tell you who really impressed me was Piers O'Connor on against Bath last Friday. I thought he was fantastic. I mean, he's always being sat around Semi is always going to be tricky to take the limelight, but I think Semi must be injured this weekend. I think he picked up a knock, and I don't think he's playing this weekend. Looking at the team sheet, it looks like it's going to be Pierre Tower and O'Connor in the centres, which is obviously a loss for the game, but I think he was fantastic. So I can't see anything but a Bristol win in this game. But if anyone knows how to get it done, Sale with their new coach. Instant, again, we talked about Harlequins, an instant reaction for Alex Sanderson. He'll be licking his lips at this, at getting these boys into Bristol and making it a tough day at the office for them. But that's easier said than done at the moment with Bristol.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Briz have got their toes on the nose at the moment in terms of just riding the crest of that wave. I think Sale coming, but possibly still working things out as they go. I think Briz, I'd back a winner there as far as they're concerned. Game 2, Wasps, as I say, dusting themselves off, having taken a bit of a battering against Quins. Second consecutive game they've conceded over 40 points, taking on Saints, who are looking for their 3rd consecutive win in the Prem in 15 months. So Saints beginning to weave and knit something together. Wasps just continue to yo-yo in terms of what you get from them. You are going to go with...
I am going to go with. This was a really difficult one for me, and I know that you've gone for a bold call. But I think that I don't think Wasps will play that poorly at home again. I think the first half they were shell shocked by how Harlequins came out, or they just weren't. They were 5-10% off where they needed to be, both mentally and physically. And I don't see that happening again. So I think Wasps will get back on the wagon and get a win. But I really was going to leave this game out because I didn't want to put my balls on the line, as it were, because I think Northampton have played well and they got that result that I thought they would last week. But I'm just going to think the Wasps are going to fire back at home. They can't go back to back at home again, and I'm going to pick them.
I've gone draw. I do love a draw. I've not put it into my ACCA. I've just gone standalone, and BetUK.com have kindly boosted that 25-1. It's nothing but a Hail Mary, but I quite like a quid on a Hail Mary every so often. And I think these two, I don't think either is absolutely at the top of their game, but I think they could just end up cancelling each other out. And we are seeing quite a few draws in the Premier at the moment. I don't know what the stats are. We need to get our nose onto that. How many draws are we finding in the league this season? They are out there. Irish and Quins the other day.
The thing about this game is, I think if Northampton's up front get into Wasps, I think that's where they could have, and Wasps back row don't have their usual day. I think they could get on top of them. This is the problem. You can see the game going a couple of ways. If it sort of gets a wee bit loose, I think it suits Wasps all day long. They're giving Northampton a 5.5 point head start, which I thought it'd probably be closer than that. That sort of, I'll stick with the bookies and go, I still think Wasps are slightly favourites.
All right. You said I sat on the fence with the draw, which I take offence.
Well, no, I said if you took a handicap draw, so if you took the 5.5 and then called a draw, that would be sitting on the fence. No, you've actually gone balls on the line, because I think a draw will be 25-1 or something like that. Yeah,
boosted 25-1.
So
worth a quid. We shall see what happens. Game 3. And actually, this one is intriguing. I mean, we're talking about Bristol and Sale and the sparks around that one. In terms of Bath Quins, I mean, Bath you've touched on already, slightly falling apart. They won 7 out of 8 after the restart. They've lost 7 out of 8 since, which is extraordinary. And then Quins, obviously, with a hell of a bounce back last week, having said farewell to Paul Gustard. But is that sort of emotional reaction which is hard to sustain, or is that we've suddenly found the elixir and we're on our way?
Well, by the looks of things, it looks like they like playing away from home. They've won 5 consecutive games away, and I think they're averaging something like 40 points a game in those away games. So, maybe they need to stop playing in Coventry. Maybe. I think, not Coventry, the Stoop. I think after that win last week, Quins will, you just think Danny Kerr will have his swagger back. They'll just be, Marcus Smith will be just, they will go and they will attack that Bath. They'll look at where the holes were from the Bristol team last week, and they'll just attack that. And I think with their tails up, the confidence has stayed high from the change, and I think they'll roll into there with all the confidence in the world, and I expect them to go down there and actually get a win. I think you could see a very high-scoring game again, but I think Bristol will come. I think Bath just don't have the mental capacity to get a win at the moment, and that's going to be the hardest thing for them, is turning that around. When you can be scoring 40 points and still lose, there's not much you can take out of it.
It's a bit like watching Brazil at the moment with Bath. Everybody's scoring, but they're not scoring 5; they're scoring 3 to the opposition's 4. But I've left this one alone. I know you keep going in on every game, and credit to you. I just sort of, there's nothing really to hang my hat on in this one. I think possibly if I was going to have to, I'd go Quins. But at some point, you think Bath have got to find an answer to something, haven't you?
Yeah,
take out Wilson, Underhill. They just look shot. I think emotionally and in terms of energy. How do you find that spark in early February as the Six Nations looms into view?
It's that awkward time now. As a coach, is do you work them harder, or do you really take the foot off the pedal and go, right, let's put a different type of pressure on them by not training them. Let's go in underprepared, but you're going to have a load of energy, and go right. Underprepared. It's all about emotion. It's all about physicality. Go deliver that, and then let's see where we get to. You could go really hard on your defence and spend all week on it, and then you'd be shot by the weekend. So it's interesting questions for Stuart Hooper down at Bath.
Yeah. Game 4, I've gone Leicester against Worcester, not because I think the Tigers are bearing their claws, but because Worcester are wretched on the road right now. Prove me otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Worcester are one of these teams that will pull up shocks, and I've gone for Worcester, haven't I, this weekend? I think they have that ability to go to Leicester and get that win. I don't think Leicester's a ground that people fear anymore. I don't think Leicester as a team of people fear. So I'm quite looking forward to them to go away. They have only won 2 of their previous 15, so I'm not really going on form on this one. But
no, I'd say you're delving into my Hail Mary bag.
But I don't know. I'm going with my gut on this for some reason. Gut.
I think Leicester.
Have I convinced you?
They're not.
Have I convinced you?
No. I'm sticking with Leicester on that one. Game 5. What is again? We keep saying what's happening at Bath. What is happening at Gloucester at the moment? Bad away records. They've lost 13 of their last 15 away from home as well. And actually, there's something about Irish that I quite like at the moment. I said if they beat Newcastle last weekend, which they did, that they, for a side that's come up from the Championship, they've got a few surprises, I think, to play throughout the course of this season. I just think at the moment, the way Gloucester are tracking, Irish are looking really good. And Dean Richards, who knows a thing or two, said they're an unbelievable side on paper. They're top 2 material.
Yeah, look,
mind games or not, but
I think actually last Sunday when I was having a Sunday lunch, I sort of looked a bit more into it, and the Norse's stats that he gives us are slightly in this COVID year are slightly skew-iffed because they've missed 2 or 3 actual games. They've had 2 or 3 games cancelled. So obviously they go down with 0 tries conceded. But then if you look at the other games, they actually
4 match points.
Yeah, they actually score, but they actually score quite a few tries. So I think they are a good team on paper, and I think they do have the ability to shock people, and that's. I don't think they deserve to be down the bottom. I think they've got more talent than they've showed so far, and unfortunately, Gloucester's defence is all over the shop at the moment, and their game management is all over the shop at the moment. So, even with Willie Hines back last week, which I hoped would, bring a little bit more control, they were still all over the place in defence. People running one way, people running the other, and some of those tries were schoolboy tries that they conceded. So, I've actually, unfortunately, I think I've gone with Irish. I just think Gloucester needs something. I hope to be, again, it's one of those where I hope to be proved wrong. But things need to happen at Gloucester. I keep hearing how great the environment is, but that'll soon change if you don't get any wins.
It's for game 6. I've gone Newcastle. I think Exeter are spluttering at the moment. It ain't coming flush out of the twin exhaust at the back. And I just think the Falcons have got a bit of bite about them at the moment. So I've gone with them at home. You're going to go with?
Yeah, I'm going with Exeter. I think in some ways Newcastle's the perfect team for them. Very similar in terms of the way they try and play, but I think they're further down the line of Exeter's sort of path that Exeter have trodden in the last few years. And I just think the Chiefs will grind them down and get a good away win there. I just think it suits them. I think the matchup suits them. If we're talking sort of NFL, I think the styles of play suit Exeter more than they do Newcastle.
It's just it's a great journey home if you've won for Exeter. I just don't think their form at the moment is coming out of twin exhaust pipes at the back. It's a bit spluttery.
Yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from. I just don't think they can stay in that slight funk for that long. And obviously they're both possession and territory. That's what they get because they keep the ball. And I just think that Exeter are more balanced then with how they use it and how they play that role than Newcastle are. So it's definitely one for the purist in terms of clash of styles and how it'll go. Obviously, Exeter will be missing a few players, but I still think it suits them better.
We shall see. We're going to make our selections via the official Premiership Rugby Predictor app. Go on and hit us with your full sweet spot and the odds you've got.
So my selections are Bristol, Wasps, London Irish, Exeter and Quins to win, and
plus Worcester.
Oh, sorry, I missed Worcester. Yep, and Worcester, and that my accumulator has been boosted to 22-1. That's not bad, actually.
What did you get last week? What were your odds last week?
11, weren't they?
Bloody hell, that's a hell of a boost. They can pretty much print what they like at the moment, given the way you and I are tipping.
But I think also that is saying that how close some of the games are, and they see it going either way. So you're getting a lot of even monies rather than a heavy favourite, aren't you? You've got a lot of close call games, so you're getting even monies rather than Exeter being a firm 4-1 on or whatever. You're getting those even money odds, which will add up quickly if you do all 6 games.
I've gone a bit more conservative than you this week. I've gone Bristol, Leicester, Newcastle, and Irish to win, and I've got that 11-1 boosted, which I quite like. And then if you fancy this Hail Mary and you want to put a quid on a Saints Wasps draw, you can get 25-1 with a little bit of afterburners attached to it as well.
Quid. Chuck a $5 on it. You want to the draw comes in. You want to, and
you want to be able to shout when it comes home.
If you win 25 quid, not necessarily you're going to. All you're going to do if you put £1 on it, it comes in. You're just going to be going, oh why didn't I just? I had a £5 in my pocket. They gave me change. Why didn't I do it?
I know. Have a nibble on the draw. I've gone 11-1 with my 4, and Tins has got 22-1 with a full house. If you like where he's gone this week. Any other breaking news? What are you watching this weekend? Where are you watching it?
What am I watching this week? Obviously,
who are going to be the round 1 Guinness Six Nations winners? Go.
So England, Scotland. I like the team that has been picked for England, so I think England. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it could be a cracking game, but I'm going to stick with England at home because history tells us that Scotland, even with that draw, that fantastic draw 2 years ago, history is in our favour. France, obviously, and then Ireland, Wales. It's Wales, isn't it? It's in Millennium.
Yeah, Principality.
I'm actually gonna. I know no one's gonna believe this. I'm gonna go Wales. Wales.
Oh, you gave me the big bill. I know no one's going to believe this, and you're going to have to bear with me.
Well, no, because I was going to bet on Ireland. There's a good chance that I'm never going to bet on Ireland, is there? So, both teams need to prove something to themselves. Yeah. Ireland need to prove style of play. They've got the players. Wales have got the players. They've just got to. It's all about that journey and getting into perfect style of play. If they can do that, I think they win.
Good. Have a look at the odds on those if you fancy on betuk.com. There's a little bonus ball for you. That is it for our Premiership preview show for another week. Hopefully our tips will be of some use to you. Either dive in or stay well clear, whichever takes your fancy. Don't forget the main show this week with Ellis alongside Jack Willis. It's an absolute ripper, and let's hope both of them go well at the weekend. Unless you're a Scot, of course. See you then. Thank you, Tins. Go well.
Cheers, mate.
See you next week.